welcome to this stream. Everything's gonna be a bit more relaxed, I think. I'm going for a bit of a rebrand with my channel, so that will be happening over the next month or so. My plans today, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I wanted to set some goals for the first year, and I want to like sort of maybe get my skills to 10 or close to 10. I want to get as much of the community center done as possible. I want to make money, upgrade tools. But that's my long-term goals. Today I'm not too sure. I think we should be going into summer today, which is exciting. And I do need to fish, so there's lots of exciting things that we can do today. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of people like 100%ing Stardew, and I have realized I've done a lot of things wrong already, and I was sort of beating myself up over it, but I'm not in a rush. We can play this and complete it at our own pace, so I don't know why it stresses me out that I think that I need to complete it within a certain time, because I don't, you know? But anyway, we shall get into the game. We are sort of going for a different kind of luck. As you can see, the chat is just up on the side and it will slowly disappear over time, I think. And as you can see, we have a little pigeon walking around at the bottom part of the screen. If you are a chatter, there should be like a little box, and you can choose your own avatar to walk along the screen as well. So yes, I am a pigeon and I love it. So we're gonna go into our farm, and we're gonna, like, my number one goal is to get my 5 gold parsnips, because it's stressing me out that I haven't got them yet. So that's what I've also seen, like so many people put their beds like right next to the door, and they put like the TV like here. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's easier, but it's not letting me move the table, right? Oh yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna first why is this so easy to, like, it's not very, oh okay, I just have to click it once. Okay, so we're gonna watch the Queen of Sauce rerun. You did your happy flap for the day. What made you happy? Why are you happy flapping? Let me know. Greetings. It is I, the Queen of Sauce, here to teach you a new mouth-watering recipe from my secret cookbook. This week's dish? Stir fry. It's a perfect way to get some healthy greens on your plate. Sauté the greens in a little sesame oil and make sure to add plenty of fresh ginger and garlic. Now breathe deeply. Oh, that's good. You learned how to cook stir fry, right? Along with reach perfection, you have to cook every meal, so I need to start watching the TV. Okay, so we have the stir fry learned. We're gonna look at the weather, and the weather is going to be clear and sunny all day. I have been told that my little pigeon friend here is not in the correct place, so we need to fix him. Let us transform him a little bit. Or is it not gonna let me? Oh. I don't know why it's not letting me. That's the one I want. Okay, hopefully now he is walking around on the screen just perfectly fine for you. I hope he is anyway. Okay, so let us continue with what we said we were going to do. And then we're going to do fortune teller, because that will tell us whether we're going to be lucky enough in the mines, so... I sense a new viewer has joined us, a young lady from Stardew Valley. Welcome. The spirits are very displeased today. They will do their best to make your life difficult. So that means that we are not going in the mines today, because I am not about that life. So we are just gonna do some farm work, I suppose, and do some fishing. Dear Khaleesi, have you settled into your new life yet? I can't believe you're all grown up now. Time sure flies. Now that you're gone, I have all this extra money laying around, so I included a little gift. Love, Dad. Well, isn't that just lovely of dear old Dad? We're gonna go... Wait, I can't go to Pierre's yet, right? We're gonna forage. No, no, don't eat the dandelion. We need to make some coal so that we can make more ores, because we don't have much coal. Okay, so 17. I also, which is exciting, did get up the little checklist. So now that when I'm like in the checklist and stuff, you can sort of follow around and check things off with me, which is fun. So we can do that together also, which I think is kind of cool that you can now sort of join me. Okay, we can go into the store now. Closed on Wednesday. I'm gonna have to go to Jojo. This is not good. I don't want to be an enemy. But Pierre, you're making it difficult for me, man. I need these 5 gold parsnips. Okay, so we need... Oh, God. I'm just gonna get a whole bunch, and I'm gonna hope for the best, because I need to. I really need to. The checklist, yeah, it is a really cool idea. I really like it. There's Shane. We'll give him a good talk. We'll talk to him. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to us. Okay. Never mind. We'll just leave. So yeah, I thought the checklist would be a cool idea also. Maybe... yeah, no. I'm just gonna go and plant these seeds and hope that we get at least 5 gold from there. So yeah. Also, if you've... I'm sure you've noticed already, Puli, but when you go into the channel points, there are new things to redeem. So if that interests you, feel free to just go ahead and look through. Khaleesi, you're lucky I found you last night. You're lurking? No. Right, lurker hi is when you're just looking in the background and you're saying hi. Lurker bye is when you're going to leave, but you don't want to like talk in chat. But you use both your lurks for the day. So no lurking for you, Puli. Thank our mods, our wonderful dragons. Khaleesi, you're lucky I found you last night. You were unconscious and someone was searching your pockets. I have no idea how much money they took. They ran away as soon as I approached. Be more careful. Have you been saving up your points, Puli? You summoned a lair creature, which... Okay. They shall arrive. It's a little sleeping dragon. And he's gonna go down here. He's gonna sleep. Right here. Is that annoying for you? We'll put him over here. That's cool. He's just sleeping. And now you don't want to save these? You're summoning the fireflies now. Oh god. I'm not sure if you can see them. They are on. Maybe they're just a little too transparent. But I suppose it's good that we're testing this. You've just used it all today. Oh, there they are. You should be able to see the little fireflies now. For now, we only have a dragon, but I'm also looking to get a few more little creatures that can come into the stream. Just don't wait the dragon. You still got 40,000. Voice actor too? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Puli. I'm gonna have to try and talk like different accents for all the NPCs now. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll try for as long as I can. Okay, Robin here. I know there's a lot of stones scattered around your farm. If you have a surplus, you might consider having me build a well for you. Wells can be placed all over your farm and serve as a convenient place to refill your watering can. Just swing by my shop with 75 stone and 1,000 gold when you're ready for it. Robin. We're getting so much mail today. Yes. Oh my goodness. So I will keep the dragon and the fireflies up for as long as I possibly can. Maybe it'll be the entire stream, who knows. I'll probably forget, so. But yes, you've summoned them. You summoned them from deep within the lair, and now they have to sit with us whilst we play Stardew Valley. Okay, we need to get my watering can and sort out my inventory. I'm sure I bought strawberry seeds, right? From one of the festivals. I swear I bought them. It would seem I did not. That's not good. Okay. 12 days. 3 days. I could have sworn I bought strawberry seeds, but it would seem I did not. Hopefully these turnips will grow before summer. They should do. I'm hoping to get at least 5 gold. Maybe I need to buy more tomorrow and just do like so many. That way then we can get this bundle done. I don't think I forgot the seeds, but I could have sworn I bought strawberry seeds. I just can't find them anywhere. I hope I didn't accidentally sell them, which is very possible for me, if I'm being completely honest with you. Sorry, I was just moving the chat. Now that I'm streaming, I can see these sort of things. I don't hate strawberries. They make good money. Which I don't seem to want, it would seem. Okay. So I have all these materials that I don't want to get rid of. So, oh, I have to go feed our beautiful ladies also. Oh, we have coal, so I can smelt up some more copper. I also like to keep things as gifts, because you never know when you're gonna need an item. I think that's all. I need to create a mining chest, I think. Let's see if we can do that. We can. So we can put just anything we've mined or harvested. I actually can't remember what I've donated either. I have a geode. I'm gonna need fiber, so I'm not gonna be throwing away the fiber. Okay, we now have 2 copper bars. And I think I'll just sell these things here. We have to go pet Boo Boo as well. Yes, such a good boy. Go see the ladies quickly and then we'll go fishing. Although I'm not sure I have many. Well, we want to keep that open for them. I'm not sure. Oh, they're not eating. Why are they not eating? Oh, I have to get a silo. Okay. We'll work towards the silo. I think I've got all the spring fish. Yeah. I think it's more that I see so many people, like, especially with the videos, just, like, speeding through it, and I'm just so slow. Okay, where is my fishing rod? Oh, there it is, okay. So all we're gonna need is our fishing rod and some berries, I think. There we go. Because I mean, community center. Let's have a look. Okay, so we can work on getting cows and animals in the next few seasons. I'm not worried about that. Artisan, again. We can slowly work on this. Obviously, we can't do those until we reach. It's more like, I don't know. There is a lot to learn and know, you know, for these kind of things. Especially this game, there is so much. I wonder where my, like, fruit cave is. Because I honestly do not know. Yeah, it's not their first playthrough, but it's... Yeah. I just need... That's why I'm not, like, beating myself up about it anymore. I can just play and have a good time. Hello, I'm just gonna be here. No, I need sea fish actually, so we're gonna go sea fishing. And collect some berries while we go. How is it 6 p.m. already? Oh my goodness. I also, like, I need to figure out how to make a crab pot. I don't know how to make a crab pot. That's a gate. Stone, wood, text. Do I have to be a certain level to unlock it? Possibly. Which means I have a lot of fishing to do. Yes, I am looking forward to it. It looks a lot of fun. I think that's another reason why I really want to, oh, I didn't bring my, what you call it? My hoe, so I could dig things like that up. I think that's another reason why I really want to, like, play Stardew Valley all the way through. Okay. Need fishing level 3. I don't think I'm fishing level 3. Oh, I missed it. I was sipping my coffee and I missed it today. Okay, we got this. Hopefully I don't get trash. Herring. That is one I already have. Ugh. Did I get bonked? Thank you. Distract me from fishing? Oh no. We do not need that. What a vibe, I know. The lair is a wonderful. Don't forget, you can create your own avatar and have them wandering around on this screen. I like to call them the lair creatures, so you can, like, have your lair creature wandering around. We do also have a stream mascot being commissioned, which I am so excited for. It's weird that it's not there for you. It's either there or it's in the about page on PC, but it should show up. I am not looking forward to catching, like, legendary fish and stuff. That's not gonna be fun. A halibut? Have I already? No. Come on. That's the wrong way. We'll have to bring up the checklist after we've slept and have a look at what fish we've already got. A sea jelly! A first catch! Nice! Why do I keep... No. No. No, no, no. Good night, Willy! Anchovy, my first catch. Is that one that I need? Just luck. Fish tank. It wouldn't be in river fish. Ocean. Tuna. Did I already get the anchovy? I must know. Interesting. Maybe it's not one I need. I could have sworn I needed the anchovy, but okay. But we can finally tick it off our list. Soggy newspaper. That's not what I want. I also never know how to get the chests. I'm so bad. Halibut again, okay. I need to figure out how to get the chests. Once I've mastered fishing, it's over for this game. Broken CD. Seaweed. Where are our fish, man? It is getting late. It's 12:10. I know there's certain fish you can only like catch between 1 and 2 a.m. Another anchovy. More seaweed. I have another anchovy. Okay, I'm getting tired now. Let's walk back. Don't think we did too bad. Yeah, because for year 2 is why I think I'll work more on all of the relationship aspects. So like building up the relationships with people around town and stuff. Okay. No, don't pass out. Oh, I passed out outside. That's not good. Oh, goodness me. Day 17 of spring year 1. Okay. But we were gonna quickly look at our checklist. So, let us get up the fishing. And what was it? We've already got the halibut, but the anchovy we can now click off. And was it the... What was that weird slimy stuff? Sea jelly. I'm not sure if that's here. No, but okay, that's another one we can tick off the very large list of things that we have to get. So I also want to... I don't know why my window, like, game keeps doing, like, it's resetting itself and stuff. It's annoying. Okay. So let us watch the TV. We're gonna have the weather report. Oh, beautiful sunny day. That is not what a farmer wants to hear. Fortune teller. Welcome to Welwick's Oracle, the only show where the voice of the spirits is channeled directly to you. The spirits are very happy today. They will do their best to shower everyone with good fortune. It's not a good day to have good fortune because that means mine time, and I haven't got the energy for the mines. And living off the land. Welcome to Living Off the Land. We're back again with another tip for y'all. Now listen up. Refreshing rain, a farmer's best friend. When it rains, you don't have to water your crops. Use this to your advantage. It's not raining for us though, so it's sad. It's a sad time. Alicia, you're lucky I found you last night. You were unconscious and someone was searching your pockets. I have no idea how much money they took. They ran away as soon as I approached. Be more careful. Well, whoever in this town is going around rummaging through unconscious people's pockets, they're not a good person. So, we're gonna sell everything that doesn't have a little star on. I want to keep the sea jelly because I feel like it would be good. I'm not sure. I also keep the seaweed. Where is my papa? I need to water the crops. I can hear him somewhere. Did I just look straight past my watering can, or am I just... There it is, okay. We'll go get some water, check on the ladies, who seem to be loving life in the grass. Hello ladies, you are looking fabulous. One thing I've learned from watching all these videos is a lot of people do plan the layouts of their farms like beforehand, because it just takes that sort of stress away from you, and it helps you to sort of optimize your farm. I might do that, like off stream, just have a little sort of layout of how I want things to be, and then I don't have to like worry when the time comes to sort of decorating and rearranging and maximizing. This has taken so much of my energy already. Oh my goodness. We're out of water. I really need to get a well, huh? Good morning, ladies. I also want to, like, where is the cave for this farm thing? Is it behind the chicken coop? Because if so, that's not good. Because it would usually be here. It's like a little cave and you can choose like between fruit bats and stuff. I'm gonna have to try and find that because I know it's very important. We're gonna sell these eggs. I think we had a birthday today, so we're gonna take them I don't know, a daffodil. Daffodils are beautiful. And hopefully we can get some more berries. Because we need all the energy we can get. Did I say hello to my papa? I think I did. Oh, his little tail is waggling. So cute. Perfect, there's a leak. Initiation. Oh, we get to enter the Adventurers Guild as well. So maybe we can give that a go. It's 10:30 a.m. Where is my daffodil? Did I eat the daffodil? Oh goodness. I am not very good with this. Okay, it's Cam's birthday. Refined quartz. I can try and help. Ooh, we have a cutscene. Welcome to Piers. How can I help you? This is the voice acting coming in now, Polly. You better listen up. Oh no. Oh no. We have some beef going on here, people. Ahem. Come and get it, folks. Coupons for 50% off your purchase at Jojo Mod. 50%? Well, any takers? Oh, and everyone's running for those tokens. I don't like Pierre, but poor Pierre. That poor man. But I can't match those prices. I'd be selling at a loss. Oh no. My accents aren't great, but I'm trying. It must be so difficult for you to lose your loyal customers like that. How can you blame them? Jojo Corporation is clearly a superior choice. Soon, the whole town will realize that. You get out of here. Oh, and it's very quiet here now. It's a very sad time. Okay, we are gonna buy a few more parsnips. Just because I'm worried. And basic fertilizer. Oh my goodness, that's 100. Sorry, with that price, Pierre, I'm out. I am not paying that for fertilizer. But we need to find Pam. Where would Pam be? In the saloon? It's locked. Oh, it opens at 12. Where would Pam be? I wonder. I've decided I am going to organize my clothes today. I have to throw out all the last year's styles to make room for the new ones. Okay, Haley, you do that. We're lucky to have a library in such a small town. That you are. Anyone know where Pam is? The saloon can be pretty lively at night. Sometimes we even put a coin in the jukebox. Where is Pam? Where is wonderful Pam? Hello? Oh god, he was coming from me. The saloon open now. Will Pam be in here? Pammy! No, she's not. Where is this woman? I don't even know what her job is. She's a sweet girl. She's been Vincent's teacher for a while now, and he really loves her. Beautiful. Wonderful. I'm spending all my time running around looking for this woman. Vincent looks sad, but I'm not getting in that smoke. Does she live this way? I don't think she does. I could have sworn she lives in the trailer. Maybe. We'll go to the guild, initiate ourselves, maybe go in the mines a little bit. Because we have to find a refined quartz also. Oh wait, no, I can't go into the... I didn't bring my pickaxe. I can do some fishing, it's fine. Linus, would you like a berry? This is a great gift, thank you. You're welcome. I found it on a bush. Let's go into this adventurers guild. Let us go in. Greetings! The caves can be dangerous. Make sure you're prepared. Rusty sword, 2 to 5, 3 to 7. Maybe we should invest in this wooden sword. Because, you know. Monster eradication goals. Help us keep the valley safe. I need to complete all this as well. Oh, lordy lord. Journal. Come back when you got something to show me, kid. Okay. I think that was a great accent. The broken bridge. Okay. Sure, we can do a bit of fishing here. I feel like I need the Pokemon, like, noise to play when I do this. A chub. Beautiful. Perfect catch again. A bullhead. I've got some new ideas to sleep on. It means we've leveled up, man. Nice. Ooh, we got the largemouth bass. Did we need that for fish tank? No. Damn it. Oh wait, we did need it. We needed it. Okay, that's another fish we can add to our bundle. That's great. Green algae. Ew. More green algae. Did I catch all the good fish? Probably. Oh, we got another one. Nice. We got a chub. More green algae. Oh, we maxed it. Nice. Nice. Another chub. We're just sitting here fishing, leveling up. And we got a new record. Nice. New record. Okay, we got a bigger bullhead. That's cool. Okay, let's go see if we can find Pam. Maybe I'll just give her a berry. Chub frenzy has begun in Cindersap Forest. Interesting. But I just need Pam. I can't find her anywhere. It's her birthday. She deserves this berry that I found on a bush. Is she in here? Is that her? Wait, maybe I should buy her a beer. Who doesn't? Oh, I'll buy Shane a beer too. Okay, we bought 2 beers. Oh wow, Khaleesi. How do you know this is my favorite? Is that you, Pam? Well, I've been looking forward to this beverage all afternoon, hee hee. Here. You remembered my birthday. I'm impressed. Thanks. You are very welcome, Pam. I hope you have a great day. Let us quickly go plant the rest of these turnips that I have. Are they turnips? No, parsnips. Brain is not braining today. When in doubt, buy people beer, people. So we want to keep you. Maybe we just want like one of each starfish. Unless I passed out and someone stole my strawberry seeds. I think that might have happened. Oh. Who would steal another person's strawberry seeds is what I want to know. Like, how can they, man? That's just cruel. Okay, let's get these all planet. Probably should have... No, don't destroy it. I just really wanted to rain. Is that too much for a farmer to ask? Okay. It wasn't you, Pooly. I think it was you. I think you stole my parsnip seeds. Let's go to sleep. Yes, please. Finally, level 3 fishing, which means crab pot. Nice. And we learned how to do the dish of the sea. Very nice. Day 18 of spring, year 1. And we made a little bit of money. I'm not going to complain. Day 19. Okay, weather report. Welcome to Kozu 5, your number one source for weather, news, and entertainment. And now, the weather forecast for tomorrow is going to be clear and sunny all day. Well, that is not what I want to hear, sir. Oh, I see a glimmer within my scrying orb. A shard of knowledge from the future. The spirits are somewhat annoyed today. Luck will not be on your side. That means one thing, fishing. Oh lordy lord, all these parsnips. Hi boy. Oh look at you, aren't you so handsome? Anyone would say you're the premium breed. Farmer Khaleesi, I have a request for you. I need fresh cauliflower for a recipe I want to make. Could you bring me one? Jody. Do I have a cauliflower is the question here, people. I have one singular cauliflower. If I need more, I am not going to be in a great position to, you know. Hello, ladies. Where is my other chicken? You can change their names. What shall we name our two chickens? Give me two names. We have a little brown chicken and we have a little white chicken. What shall we name them? No takers? Okay, I'll name them myself. I'm gonna call this one in here Fudge. Fudge, you are adorable. I love you. And this one, I'm gonna call... What shall I call this one? I'm gonna call her Zelda. You wanna call the chicken Think very hard about this, Pooly. What shall we call this little white chicken here? We have Fudge, and now we have this little white chicken. Always your name suggestion. Pick? You want to call it Pick? Are you sure now? You want to call it Pick? Name him Pick. Okay. We have Fudge and Pick. Two very glorious chickens. Oh, but we can make our crab pots now. Maybe we'll do a little bit of farm work today. Get ready for the next season, which will be upon us. Oh, and we can also go into our checklist and we can... Was it the largemouth bass we got? I think it was. Okay, and then we can go into bundles. And the fish, we haven't completed the bundle yet, but we will eventually. So we can go and drop that off too. You're 50 seconds behind. It's weird with the delays. I don't know why it's so delayed. I don't have a delay on. It chooses for me. That's completely fine for me. I'm gonna have to remember that I need to turn the list off when we're finished with it. Oh, and I have to take that cauliflower. Okay. I need to try and get a refined quartz as well. But I really don't want to go into the mines. Not if the spirits are unhappy. I have a quartz. Is that what they meant? Refined quartz. What's refined quartz? Well, we'll figure it out. But we have to go to Maru. Which one is Maru? Oh look, we're level 2 with Pam and Vincent. Shane. We haven't even got a single heart. So, where is Maru? Okay, that's Sebastian's sister. And who needed a cauliflower? Jody. Okay. Let's sell these eggs and then we shall be on our way. Is there another quest on the board? Need dandelion to enjoy with some fresh bread. Clint. I do have a dandelion. I will go back for it. Right now we need to find Maru and Jody. Is she in here? No, she's not in the clinic. That's a daffodil, right? That's not a dandelion. I didn't bring out fish so we can put it in the bundle. Damn it. I always forget. There she is. Was it this she needed? This is a super gift, thank you. Okay, it wasn't what she needed. A refined quartz. I don't know what refined quartz is. Let's go back and get a dandelion. Hopefully we have a dandelion in one of our chests. No, don't eat the horseradish. No. Also, the dragon will be returning deep into the lair, and he will be peacefully slumbering and not annoyed by my constant chatter. But he thanks you for bringing him out, Huli. Please tell me I have a dandelion. I do. Now let me see if I have a refined quartz. All I have is quartz. I don't have a refined quartz, which means I'm not going to be able to complete that challenge. But at least I have the cauliflower and the dandelion. Also, I know it was the 10th anniversary of Stardew Valley, and we got some new marriage candidates available. And I'm not sure people were happy about Clint. I don't blame him. I don't like Clint either. He's kind of a creep. And the other one, I can't remember the name of the other one. The 2 new marriage candidates, which is very exciting. Hey, so you saw the ad I posted. Thanks so much. Here's your payment as promised. So we have delivered Clint his dandelion, which is wonderful. Upgrade tools. Okay, we need 2,005 copper bars. Do you have a refined quartz? No. Okay, now we need to find Jody. Today is a day of errands. We are running around like little headless chickens, as some may say. Hello, please don't break your neck. Thank you. So, where would Jody be? I think she's... Ooh. Little wormy worms. We have a book. We can donate it. You found a lost book. Lost book. The library's collection has expanded. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm a genius, but I'm gonna say it. I'm a genius. It is sometimes over here, I think. Ooh, traveling lady. What do you and your beautiful purple hippo have for us? Sunflower seeds? Farmer's lunch. Do we need a mushroom for the bundle? Let me check. I don't know if we do, but I am going to buy a red mushroom. I don't know if I need any of these. I don't think. I don't think I do. Thank you. I do need this. So I'm glad I bought it. But I need to find Jody. I don't know where she is. Is this her house? I don't know. That's Leah's house. Okay, we're looking for Jody. Where does she live? I really don't know. She has to live in one of these houses. Hello? No? No. Hello, Evelyn. You wouldn't have happened to see Jody anywhere? Is she in here? No. It's Sebastian out in the wild. I don't really know you. Sebastian, man. You've broken my heart. You know, I've been thinking. I wish I had a hobby, something to do other than hanging around at that saloon every night. I feel you, Pam, I feel you. I don't know where Jody is. She's not in here. Is she at the library? She might be. It's a fine looking day. It is. Is she in here? I don't think she is. I want that bear. Okay, if you were Jody, where would you hide? Is she in Georgia? That's not her, right? No. She's falling asleep. I can't talk to her. Maybe she's at the saloon. Everyone's at the saloon, it would seem. How can I possibly compete with Jojo? You're telling me. Don't you have work to do? Shane, that's hurtful, man. Right, who is this for again? Jody. Jody. Okay. There she is over there. That's her, right? That's Jody. It's simpler to be friends with the trees. They don't have much to say. Oh my lord. Has little Boo settled in yet? It's such a nice property for a pet to explore. Where's Jody? Spring, the season of pastels. I actually prefer jewel tones myself. Oh, excuse me. I was mumbling about fashion again, wasn't I? You were indeed. Where is Jody? Everyone's here in the saloon having a grand old time, and I'm running around looking for a woman. I think it's time to bust it out. Okay. So she's probably in her house. Which I believe is this one. There she is. Take this. Oh, that looks so delicious. Thank you. This is just what I wanted. It's going to be perfect for my yellow curry. I bet it is. I bet it is. I've been searching for you all day. To the point where I haven't done anything for myself. This red mushroom, we need it for a bundle though, so yes. We got that at least. But what we didn't do is fishing crab pot things. Which is not good. So I'm gonna put this in here because I know I need to take it with the bundle. Wait, no. I need another one because I gave the other one to Clint. Okay. Let us see what we need for crab pots. Oh, we need iron. Okay. We also need wood, which I don't have, so we are gonna chop some trees before we go to sleep. Use up a bit of that energy. Timber! I've got new ideas to sleep on. Oh, is that wood stuck in my house? That's not fun. I also could have sworn I found a book. Did I put that away? I can't be going crazy, right? I did pick up a book. Hello? Why is everything going missing? Could have... I think I'm going crazy. I swear I picked up a book. Papa's on the bed. How cute. So now my stuff is going missing. So we now have a tapper and we have a mushroom log recipe. And we can make wild seeds, which is fun. Okay, we made a little bit of money, not much, but a little bit. We did lose our book, because I don't know where that went. I could have sworn I got a book. So we're gonna do fortune teller. Oh, I see a glimmer within my scrying orb, a shard of knowledge from the future. The spirits are somewhat annoyed today. Luck will not be on your side. Okay. That gives us a little time to go around the farm, I suppose. Hey kid, here's the recipe for a little treat my pappy used to make. Cook it slow. Okay. We got cheese, cauliflower. Nice. I need to go into the mines, but I can't. Well, I can, it's just the spirits are not on my side. And I don't want to buy iron from Clint. Oh, I've done Jody's request, that's good. We can now sell these eggs. And we can do some watering for the crops. And I'll just do some stuff around the farm, maybe. Maybe we can do some fishing too, because I can't do the crab pots yet. but I'm quickly gonna look at this. I don't think it's Shane's birthday today. Okay, we're gonna have to buy him a beer later. So yeah, I don't know if my game is bugged, because that's strawberry seeds and a book I could have sworn I picked up. You don't think so? I don't, like, I know I picked these things up, I swear, because I got the little, like, little icon that it was like a book and that Gunther would know. Unless it went straight there? I don't know. What do we need for tree tappers? 2 copper bars and some wood. What do we really want to do is... Well, we can make those for when we do... Oh no, I don't have bug meat. Never mind. I'm just gonna collect a load of wood so that I can make crab pots, I think. I am exhausted already. We can do some more bars. I'm hoping that these spirits will be a bit nicer tomorrow. Vision stuff. I've already messed up my chests, and I don't like that. Okay. This is just for mining stuff. This is for materials. I need to make a chest for accessories, but I can do that after. It's fine. These things are for that. Okay. Organize, yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like that should be down here somewhere. We'll put it in here for now. Fiber is not going there. Okay, carrots take 3 days to grow. I could plant a load of those and get some money from that. Okay, that's those watered. Maybe I can drop this. And I know I need that for a bundle. Yeah, we can take these. I'm not sure if I've unlocked this bundle yet, but I'll take it. You never do know. Hello, Haley. Now we just have to get a sturgeon. Now, I am not sure if I... Oh, I can do the copper bar. Fish tank, craft room. Oh, yes! Which one's this? This is bridge repair. That's the craft room, okay. Well, I can drop the red mushroom off. So we have one of many. There's another request on the board. Need smallmouth bass to serve at breakfast tomorrow. And we'll be thankful. I am not sure I have a smallmouth bass. Let me run back and check. If I have one, I'll accept. If not, you'll have to have something else for breakfast, Pam. I'm very sorry. I do not have a smallmouth bass. So Pammy, you're gonna have to have something else for breakfast. I am so sorry. Hello, Boo. Oh, I have no water. Let me get some. I can't remember if I've checked on the ladies this morning either. Oh my goodness. I think I did. Fudge, hi. Good morning. Or afternoon. The days all blur together. And you are on the farm. Okay. Let us go to the saloon, because I think Shane should be there by now. Hopefully. He should hopefully be there by now. He's not here yet, but I'm gonna buy him a beer. God, all these recipes I need to buy. And I know I don't know which one I need to play here. There's a skull-shaped keyhole. Oh goodness. Okay, this is a game. I don't know what you do. What do you do? Oh. Why would you do that to shoot? That is so awkward. Why would you do that to shoot? Oh my goodness. I don't like those controls. Oh goodness. No, no, no. Let me get you. Oh no! Oh my goodness. I'm not very good at this at all. Oh goodness. No! Oh my goodness. I don't like. Game over. Oh goodness. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I do not like the controls. Why is it like that? I would much prefer to click my mouse than to use the arrow keys to shoot, because it's very awkward to get my hand like across the keyboard. Yes, finally, Pam. Hello. I have been here waiting for everyone. I'm just waiting for Shane, who is taking his sweet time. There he is. There's the birthday boy. Oh, is it my birthday? I was hoping I'd forget. This is actually really nice though, thank you. Oh, well that's just mean, Shane. Okay, I think I'm gonna have another go at the arcade machine because, and I say because, I don't like it. It's not fair. I won't. Why have they done that? Is what I want to know. Okay, okay. We got it. We got it. Where are they? Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. No. I don't like these keys. How does one do these? I need to complete this without dying for the achievement. Oh, goodness. Oh. No, it's just annoying. I'm not... My brain can't process this stuff fast enough. But I need this to get the 100%, so I have to do all the practice I can get. Ugh. I'm not gonna... That's not gonna go well for me. This is a sad time. I'm gonna have to try and watch some, like, videos and stuff on how to do it. To complete it, because I can already tell that's probably gonna be the hardest thing for me, personally. Just because my brain can't, like, keep up with stuff like that. It's very difficult. But I have time. We're gonna just go to sleep at 7. Because why not? Not much, but we got a little bit, and that's all that matters. Okay, we're gonna go straight. The Queen of Sauce. Greetings, it is I, the Queen of Sauce, here to teach you a new, mouth-watering recipe from my secret cookbook. This week's dish? Radish salad. There's nothing like a fresh, peppery radish. It reminds me of the late spring. My mother would slice up our fresh radishes and serve them on grainy bread with a little salt and pepper. Ah, those were the days. But I digress. Now watch closely. You have learned how to cook a radish salad. Okay. We need the fortune teller. I sense that a new viewer has joined us. A young lady from Stardew Valley. Welcome, welcome. Well, it's not me. The spirits are in good humor today. I think you'll have a little extra luck. You know what this means? You know what this means? Lucy, I found this recipe in a magazine and I thought it sounded interesting. Feel free to give me a taste if you make it. Hehe. Pepper poppers. Okay, is that flirting? Is he flirting with us? I think he's flirting with us. Oh my goodness, we've got no gold star ones. Okay, we've got one gold star. Oh my goodness, we got one gold star. I need 5. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to go and buy many more and hope for the best. Oh lord. But we are going to the mines, so I need my sword, my trusty sword. And my pickaxe. What am I doing? We organize. And we need food. We're gonna take 3 carrots and hope for the best. We'll quickly feed the ladies. I have new ideas to sleep on, which means I've leveled up, which is very exciting. I'm gonna keep the gold egg, I think. Where did Boo go? Where did that little munchkin go? I have no clue where he went. I'm just going to put my watering can in there. Where did Boo go? Am I blind? Why can't I see him? I think I'm gonna keep the gold star eggs. We are off to the mines. Hello, Linus. Wonderful to see you. I'm going to the mines with my wooden sword and a dream. We've only made it to the level 10. This is not ideal. Oh my lord. I got him. Ooh, what is that? I've learned a new power. Interesting. We do need some coal, so that is very, very much welcome. I don't like these flying ones. These are my least favorite of the bugs. Oh wait, no, it's these. They're my least favorite. Oh, that actually gave me a lot of energy. Okay. Oh, this area is overrun with Look at that giant slime. It makes baby slimes. Sure. This is not fair. You're ganging up on me. Oh my goodness. He had red eyes. I don't like that. He's like an evil one. It's dark in here. No, it's those horrible little bug things. I don't like those. One thing I don't get for when I'm mining is like lots of ores and stuff. I just don't get that many. I can't see anything either, which does not help. I wonder if there's like some sort of puzzle, or if it's all just random. I also don't get much coal. Not again. Where'd that dude go? Now he's a naked little crab. Again. This place is creepy. Oh my goodness. Those things are annoying. Finally, we made it to level 20 at last. Oh my goodness. That's 4 to 8, 3 to 7. Maybe we can continue just a little bit longer here. Get this beautiful copper, which we do need. Though I have not found any coal, which is kind of sad. It is getting late, which is so annoying. Oh my goodness. Guess we should just leave, huh? Otherwise we're gonna pass out. But like getting to 20 was good. Although I feel like it takes longer now. Longer than it did anyway. Let's go. I wonder what this does. Gives you a wide variety of minerals. I'm wondering if that's something you need in a bundle. Who knows? Hello, hello, hello. Beautiful farm. Oh, I fell asleep. I just got to the door too. Okay, level 4 farming. I have 1 watering can proficiency and +1 in hoe proficiency. I now have preserved jars and iron fences and basic retaining soil. We made some good money on those parsnips. Not bad. Okay, so we're gonna have weather report. Oh, another beautiful day. Fortune teller. No mining today, and okay, that was what I already knew. Rich, not even close. Oh wait, are these my strawberries? Finally! Strawberries. Fun. Okay, I have two. Wait, no, is that 2 or 7? Does that say 2 or 7? I've literally had 7 this entire time. Oh my lord. We are gonna just ignore me and what I'm doing. Plant these in spring. Okay, we have rice shoots, but I think it's gonna be too late. Takes 8 days, and yeah, we're not gonna have enough time. Lettuce. We still need iron. And we need coal. How do I make a charcoal kiln? Okay, I can make one of those. We can definitely make one of those. Is there anything in here first that I need to deposit? Fiber, mixed seeds, stone, a geode. quite a few of those now. I don't need that many. Okay. Let us sell that one. We can sell that one. Hi, boo. Lacey, you're lucky I found you last night. You were unconscious and someone was searching your pockets. I have no idea how much money they took. They ran away as soon as I approached. Be more careful. I surely will, because I keep doing that and it's not good. Okay, so we are not mining today, so we can put our mining stuff away for now. I think we're just gonna do some fishing. And we have to water our crops. We kind of don't need this sword anymore either. Okay. Now, do we put wood in that? Is that how we make charcoal? Oh. Maybe if I put 10 wood? Okay. Let's go check on the ladies. Hello. And we have some more beautiful eggs. No, don't eat the egg, please. I think I'm just gonna start collecting my gold quality ones though. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only need 5. We don't have many crops left now for this season. But we need to look after the ones we have. You and you. Okay, let's go drop these parsnips off at the community center, because I do not want to accidentally sell them. That would not be good. I would probably cry. So I know I said Stardew would be a Sunday thing, but I've really been wanting to play this game more, so is that something you would like to see throughout the week? My streaming days are obviously Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so if it's something you'd like to see more regularly than just Sunday, let me know. Parsnips in. Great. Now, did I need strawberry for anything? Let me check. Craft. Construction. I'm gonna keep strawberry anyway because no, I don't think I need it for any of the ones I've got yet. But I will keep it just in case. Oh, and we can open up our checklist quickly. We'll go onto it. We can go into the bundles and where is it? I haven't completed a bundle. And we can look through this bundle and I'm not sure. I had nothing to click off then. I just wanted to open it up. Look at all the cherry blossom leaves, how cute. Maybe we can fish here. We haven't fished here before. Perfect catch. Nice. And we get the smallmouth bass now. Okay. Maybe I'll just keep 1 or 2 of every fish from now on. It seems like a good idea. We have another sunfish, which is great. A river jelly. We have a new record for that sunfish, which is great. I should probably be fishing in the ocean. I missed that. Okay, let's go to the ocean. Let me check a section. Anchovy, sardine bream, herring, chub, bullhead, carp, halibut. So the one fish I need to get is a flounder. And it's an ocean fish. That's a herring, okay. We're gonna be, you'd love to see more, that's great. Maybe I can do more Stardew through the week as well. Just because I feel like otherwise it's gonna be like forever, like, and I've been so excited. I've just wanted to play. Perfect. We have the flounder. We can actually take that now off the list. That's the one I needed. Which is so fun. I'm not sure I need it for a bundle, but we can check that here. Fish tank. Crab pot, river fishing, ocean. No, it's not one we need for the bundle, but it's one we needed to fish, so that's fun. We have 2 more river fish that we need to catch for this season to complete, you know, the spring fish, but that has to be for when it's raining. So we have to hope that we get at least 1 day of rain so we can just fish all day. We have an anchovy. Nice. Did I need an anchovy? No, I can't remember what fish I needed for one of the bundles. I'll have to keep my eye open. And a sardine. Let me no, I need to look in bundles. Oh, I don't know. What's that? A sandfish? I think I have one of these, a mussel. No, it's a sturgeon. And a shad. I swear I got one of these before. Or maybe not. I'm probably going a bit crazy. We have a beautiful herring. Oh, I was too late. And that time I was taking a drink. Okay, we have a hit. I have you, little sardine. A Joja Cola. Washed away in the ocean. How wonderful. You were a little tricky one there. Another halibut. And another anchovy. And I think we'll just head back. Hopefully it's either raining tomorrow or it's a good spirit day. Because it would be great to go back down into the mines. Nothing. 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 Sometimes you just have to look in people's trash, you know? You never know what you're gonna find. Okay, so we have an anchovy, a bullhead, a chub, a halibut. I want to keep a herring, a gold one. I don't have... I'm gonna keep this flounder. Do have a mussel, so I can put that in the bundle. I'm going to start trying to keep like gold things. And sell that. Hopefully I didn't throw. He's in there. He's safe, which is good. We have a really small amount of coal. Oh my goodness. I wish I could load more things into that. That would be great. Okay, let's go and rest for the evening. Okay. We got some good money there. I am not going to complain. Okay, let's get the fortune teller. Okay, so they're neutral today. That could go one of two ways. We could either have a really good mining day or a really bad mining day. I know I should probably sell these carrots, but I kind of want to eat them because they're very good. Maybe keep a few more green beans. Wait, no, wait, don't go there. So, today is the day that we go mining again. This is either gonna go very well or very bad. Oh, I need to water my dog. He's gone missing again. Hello, ladies. You are looking very fabulous. You've also given me some wonderful eggs. Me and Khaleesi tomorrow we're all getting together for the flower dance. If you can find a partner, you might even want to participate in the dance yourself. Oh no. Hello, Orb. Welcome to the stream. As you can see here, we're playing Stardew Valley. If you are in the chat and you see a little pigeon wandering across the screen, you too can have a lair creature wandering the screen. You either go down in the little panels area and you can select an avatar there, or if you're on your phone, there should be a little button in the chat for you. And you too can be a wandering lair creature across the screen. Okay, so we have the flower dance tomorrow, and I don't think I have anyone to go with. Ooh, I can ask Shane, but he's only 3 hearts. We will see. Where did the dog go? There he is. Hi, Boo. Okay, let's go. To the mines we go. Oh, you summoned a lair creature. Only did that earlier, and the dragon came and went back to sleep, but now he is back again, and he's not happy. We also have the fireflies summoned at the moment, so if they are summoned again, they will disappear. But thank you for summoning the lair creature. More will be joining him shortly. We are also having a stream mascot commissioned, currently in the works, and I am so excited. Okay, I need to fish here, man. I know that for a fact. How do you become a pigeon? If you're on your PC, below the video where it says like about and everything, there should be a like stream avatar like box, and you click join and then it'll load in. No, oh goodness, it'll load in some avatars for you. You sand sausage. We got another cherry bomb. You can be more than a pigeon. Oh, did you choose a fox? Are you a fox? Welcome in! We have another lair creature. Both hiding behind the dragon, who is the protector of the lair. You're waiting. We have a little foxy up here on the screen, so maybe that's yours and then you can change it. We have a few available. I want to get custom ones eventually, but that will be in due time. I'm also looking at like a little TCG game that you can unlock with points, and you get like cards, like I commission cards, and like you save up points to open the packs. Are you a blue raccoon? Is that you? Okay, you're the blue raccoon. Both just wandering around. What is that? Oh, it's just stone. Oh, I hate these things. And of course there's another one. Now, how does one use a bomb? Ooh, 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 ooh. Let's go. Yeah. And we got the ladder. Fun. Is it Valheim you're still playing? Bosses are not fun. I did not know there was a lift on level 25. That is fun. I'm gonna eat a carrot. One of these little things. Don't think you're becoming an annoying flying bug. Yeah, well, maybe he wanted to take a nap, but you were disturbing him. Did you think of that? You shouldn't ruin nap time, Owen. We got iron ore at last. See, that's where you go wrong. You have to let them nap first. Then they'll be less cranky. Eat another carrot. Oh no, not these. I really don't like those things. They're so annoying. I don't think so. Thank you. Level 28. We are slowly progressing further. How come whenever I watch a stream I can never hear background noise, but when I try and test my stream, you can practically hear the blood run through my veins? I don't know. I have mine set to like quite low and calm. I also put suppression filters on. Can you not hear any noise from my game? Or me? Because I've tested it and it's fine. Like I think I'm fine. Also, soon my moderators will be getting little custom dragons made. Oh, I need to eat a carrot. So you'll have to tell me what kind of design you want for a dragon. No, I can hear you in your game. I'm on about like your keyboard or whatever. Oh, I've done a lot of noise suppression and stuff. If you need help with it, I can help you, it's fine. I use OBS though, so if you use other softwares, I probably couldn't help you. I just downloaded OBS online, and it's just what I use. And then I use like Streamlabs dashboard thing for like alerts and chatbot and stuff. Okay, we have 2 more levels to find people. Down here. This is going to send me up, but is your OBS black or blue? Mine is black, but I have it in dark mode, so I couldn't tell you. But I do believe it's black. My icon is black and white. Come on. I just want to get down another level. Yeah, I think I just use the default because it does everything I need it to do. Neither do I. Oh my lord, so many. Okay, 1 mistake there. So I haven't got time for you to be... Oh lord, it's... I didn't even know there was another kind of OBS, to be honest. I thought it was just the one, and that's that. Why are there so many of you? Nope. Oh, I'm sleepy. I'm not gonna make it back to my house. This is not good. Why do I do this to myself? Now I'm trying to get the perfection achievement for Stardew Valley. It's like 0.8% of its player base have it because it's just so difficult. And I want to get it. But I'm working first on completing the game, and then I'll grind for perfection. Oh my goodness. Because despite having this game since the day of launch, I have never played it all the way through. I've never completed the community center, so yeah. Yay! I can make staircases now, which is great. And I can make a life elixir. I went to war. Okay. The Queen of Sauce. We got a rerun. What did we get? Coleslaw? Okay. I can make coleslaw now. Ooh, okay, we can go mining today. They're in good humor. Get ready, people. I'm just going to shove these things all in this chest for now. I have to water my dog. Oh no. Okay, we can make bug steaks, which, you know, it is what it is. Hello, my darling chickens. Let me see those eggs. 2 gold eggs today. Beautiful. Where is my dog? I need to water him. Hi, Boo. Okay. I really need it to rain before spring ends. Wait, was it today? Was the festival today? The 24th? It was. Do I want to go to the festival? I would rather mine whilst... Yeah, I'm gonna mine instead. It could be a mistake, but it's what I want to do. Oh, Linus, let me give you this beautiful horseradish I found on the ground. That's a good find. I'm always happy when eating wild food. Thank you. You're welcome. Me and you're gonna be best trash buddies. And again, our lair dragon is going to fly off into the depths of the lair to sleep. He has had enough of my voice. Thank you, Orb, for summoning him. He appreciates the company, but he's done now. He wants to go to sleep. We're disturbing him. Oh, straight back down. Oh no, monsters. Giant slime. Okay, I don't want to attend. The spirits were meant to be happy today. Why are they giving me monsters? Ooh. Reading this book will grant some combat experience. Don't mind if I do. Also, we're thanking the mods. We do. We love our dragons. The protectors of the lair. Oh goodness. I was gonna say, oh, and you don't stream enough either to sort of configure your settings enough. Yeah, you need to thank yourself. Although you miss a lot of the streams. We forgive you. Work, yes. Ooh, I've done a monster slayer goal. Fun. Get Nikki Crab. Yeah, that's it. Why does it kind of look like Sky when she's been naughty? Nope. Not today, Satan. A cave carrot, just what I want. Just downloaded regular OBS so you can help me with that soon, so I can stream my speedrun attempts. I can help if you want alerts and stuff. I highly recommend maybe buying them from Etsy. You can get them really cheap, and if you want like different things to enhance your stream. And then when you know you're gonna stick to it, maybe you can get them commissioned. Or I've seen some people use GIFs. I was in a stream this morning and they had all the Lord of the Rings like GIFs as their alerts, which is cool. You have a personal commission person? Oh, I don't even make my own things. I commission and buy mine. I would not know how to make decent alerts and panels and stuff. Oh no, why is it smoky? I don't like that one bit. Of course I can try, I can't promise it would be any good. I am gonna start learning pixel art though. Because I think that would be so cool. It's so cool. I found like the software I can use. But yeah. I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, character tributes from pixel art are so cute. We've reached level 30, finally. And it's dark and spooky. I don't like that. Oh, I found the letter already. Okay, I'll go straight down. And I don't mind going straight down, it's fine. Okay, we're getting kind of lucky with these ladders today. I don't want to jinx myself. What was that? Oh my god, is that a zombie? Dude. Nope. I don't like you. I don't like you. Go away, go away, go away. That's scary. Yeah, I have old pixel art, so I probably would. Please tell me that bat's not gonna attack me. I did nothing, I promise. Oh my goodness, he does attack. Okay. Come back, come back. Oh my goodness. That was scary. I don't like how dark these caves are. Why so dark? Why? That's rude, dude. I can't even see you. At least drop something useful. Oh goodness, I hate horror games. I would just be crying and screaming. That's no fun. Well, it's no fun for me. Did I kill him? No. What a bat again. Oh my goodness. I don't like these levels. I can't see. How do I get out of here? This way? Oh, this way. I can't see. Oh my goodness. I can't see a thing. How is one meant to get out? I cannot see. I can't even see what's attacking me. Is there here somewhere? Okay, there we go. Bad, go away. I'm gonna have to bring torches, I think. No. Thank you. Is that like a hole in the wall? How does one get there? Looks like a hole in the wall. It's scary. What's up? There's a stone. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I was so low. I just need one more level and then I can save the level. Come on. Of course the game is not going to be easy for me, is it? No. I know it's getting late. I just can't figure out how to get down. Or out, for that matter. Is there something I am missing? I think I'm missing something. I just don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to bring torches. Yeah, I could see anything either. It's okay. Let's hope I make it back to my farm and don't get robbed. I need a day of rain. Slip. The booksellers in town. Okay. Fortune teller. Okay, we can go mining again. Fun. We'll drop all our stuff off. See what I need actually. I'll take these bombs. What do I need to make torches? Wood and sap. Wood and sap, okay. While we are here, we can just quickly sort. Sword, fiber, sap. Iron can stay, stone can stay. Okay. Now we need carrots. Carrots, watering can. Yeah, I almost forgot. Almost being. But I did not, and that's what matters most. Hello, chickens. Thank you for the eggs. My energy is so low already. What can I eat? I'll eat the berries, that's fine. Yes. Eat them. It's the end of the season coming up, so there's no point. Oh, I'm so sorry, I hit my mic. Seasons do in fact matter, yes. Right, we're going into the spooky places now. Okay. Where can I put a torch here? Okay, this one's not too bad, so I'm not gonna... I say... As a creature that I can't see makes a weird noise. There it is. Oh goodness. In the light, in the light. They make a really weird noise, man. It sounds like a squeaky chair. Ooh, I've got new ideas to see on. Does that mean I've leveled up in combat? I think it does. Another one? Oh goodness me. That's fine. There's a channel point you can use which it makes you go into lurker mode. We have many new channel points, which is fun. Lurker bye. White algae. We have topaz. I like stone monsters, okay. I hate when this mist comes in. More? Oh god, is it how many? The spirits were meant to be in a good mood today. These are in a bad mood. I'm just going down the ladder. I have not got time for that. My health. Okay, this is where I was getting stuck somewhere. So we just need to put a few torches around. Just a few. Okay. Nothing that way. No! Oh, I wasted my bomb. That's no good. I found the ladder, I just didn't see it. Typical. We just have to get the ladder. You are just napping, sir. Oh, why two? I don't want two. Yes, thank you. Yes, it's like, I just want to... Finally, we are in level 40. And we got a slingshot. Okay, now we can leave. I don't know whether we'll make it back in time, but we're gonna try our best. But level 40 in the mines, I'm feeling good about that. Taken a while, but I've done it. And we just made it back. And we've gone over the 3-hour mark. We've got a new recipe for Roots Platter. What day is it? I'm mining? We have a miner's treat now, which is good. So we're on day 26. 3 more days left of spring. In today's stream, I did want to get to the end and get into summer, but I don't think that's going to happen. Hello, Chris. Welcome in. We are just ending the stream. It's been 3 hours. We've made good progress. We got to level 40 in the mines, and I think that's a good enough time to end it. Also, I've been aiming to do 3-hour streams, and I've reached my goal for today. We've done a 3-hour Stardew stream, which I am very proud of, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Maybe play some other games. But thank you to anyone that came in. Rude? Rude is not my fault. You should have been watching from the beginning, sir. But yes, thank you to anyone that has come in and shown support on the stream. It's been very nice. We've been grinding hard today, and I'm probably gonna be grinding some more Stardew throughout the week, so turn your notifications on. But yes, thank you for joining me, and I will see you Tuesday for our modded Minecraft stream. Thank you. Goodbye.